lines, and planes. So it's a lot of vocabulary. It's not that hard though. It's not so bad. A point is an exact location in space. Okay? And then I have my little funny guy. Yes, it's an exact location. But the thing about a real point is it has no length, no width, no height. So in fact, you can't see a true point. So it's something like, it's called an undefined term pretty much. So you can't see a true point, but it's just an exact location in space. So if you look at your assignment and you scroll down to number 3, where it says match the term with the correct definition, do you see where the word point is? And then you can click the drop down. Which one of those do you think is
an exact location in space?
An exact location in space. Do you guys see that? Yeah.
We got the first one right.
All right, let's go back. Okay, so a point. To name a point, we use dots. How to sketch them, we use dots. And to name them, we use capital letters. Do not ever use a lowercase letter. Then I won't know that's a point. So if you're naming a point, point A, it is capital A, capital letters. Okay, let's talk about lines. A line extends forever in both directions. It never stops. So a real line, you can't even really imagine because it goes on forever and ever and ever and never stops. There are infinitely many points on a line. A line is labeled with 2 arrows, and the arrows just mean it goes on and on and on. So if you were to draw a line, you put the 2 arrows on the end. And because a line has no width or height, you cannot see a true line. So we're going to talk about lines, but first, should we pick the definition of a line?
Yeah.
Which one?
A collection of points.
Yes. A collection of points lying in one plane extending forever in both directions. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, that looks right.
Okay.
Good job.
So how to sketch lines, we use arrows on both sides. Now there's several ways to name lines, and we're going to talk about it, and then I'm back to my fun. I like my fun. Okay, F-U-N. So there are many, many ways to name a line. To name a line, you can name it by a lowercase script letter off to the side. So I could call this line M. Or you pick 2 points on that line, not 3. Never name that line F-U-N. You will get it wrong. I'm counting it wrong. How many points do you use to name a line? 2. So could I name this line F-U?
Yes.
I could. When you name it, you put the arrows on top. So that's saying, since there's infinitely many points on a line, you just pick 2 of the points, and then you put the arrows on top, saying it's that entire line, and it contains those 2 points, F-U.
Was that done on purpose?
Yeah. What is another way I could name that line?
UN.
UN is another one. What's another way? FN.
UF.
UF.
C.
Oh.
Could I name it? Could I name this line MUF? No, how come?
Because there's 3 points.
Yes.
It has to be like a triangle.
2 letters. You will get it wrong if you put 3 letters. In fact, I'll call you out in front of the whole class and we'll laugh at you. I'm just kidding.
Huh?
Just kidding. Okay. Collinear points are points that lie on the same line. So collinear means same line. So if you go back to your assignment, do you see the word collinear?
Yes.
What would be a good definition?
Points that lie on the same line.
Yes, points that lie on the same line. So that's collinear. We will get to a plane in a minute.
Wait, are we gonna have to take a quiz over this?
Well, this is what you're doing right now. We're doing it together, kind of.
I'm just wondering if you understood.
Okay, so my son's name is Jake. So I have 4 points on this line, J-A-K-E. Is it possible for only 2 points to be collinear?
No.
So if I have a point up here and a point over here, could they be on the same line?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't you always connect 2 points and make a line?
Yeah.
So
Unless there's
2
something blocking
points are always, always, always collinear on the same line. Now, if I have a point up here called B, because his last name is Brooke, so I'll put a B up here. And I asked you, are points J, A, and B collinear, then you would say no, because one of those points is not on the line. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
But what if I just said, are points J, B collinear?
Yes, they are.
They are. If I only give you 2 points, they are always collinear. Always, always, because you can always connect 2 points to make a line. So 2 points, always collinear. When we start getting into 3 or 4 points, then you have to look to make sure they're all in the same line. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 points, always collinear. 3 or more, may not be. Okay, oh dang it. What are some ways to name that line? Could I name that line J-A-K-E?
No.
No, what could I name it?
J-A-A-K.
J-K-K-E.
K-A-K.
AK.
A, yeah, whatever. A-K. Yeah, just 2 points though.
K-A.
So many ways to name that line. Okay, let's look at this example real quick because you're going to have problems like this on your assignment. So, are points A, G, and H collinear?
Yeah.
Yes, they're all on the same line. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, are points, if so, what line do they lie on? I could name it line M. That's an easy way to name it.
But were they kind of wrong on
Yeah, because it's not do you have to capitalize like the?
If you name it with the points, capitalize it with the points. If you name it with M, lowercase.
What about N? Because G's on N, kind of.
Okay, but it says A, G, and H. Which line do all 3 of those points lie on? M. Not all 3 lie on N, only G lies on N. Does that make sense? Okay. Are points U, T, and D collinear?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I should beat you up right
No.
All right.
Was that a threat?
Yes.
So mean to him.
Okay, are points H and T collinear?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
Oh, they're not even
Okay, if I give you 2 points, 2 points are always collinear. How come?
Because they.
You can always connect them. So 2 points are always collinear. It's when you get into 3 or more that you have to be careful. So 2 points, always collinear. Okay, let's talk about a plane. A plane, not the plane that you fly in the sky. A plane is a flat surface that has infinite length, infinite width, and 0 height. So again, you wouldn't be able to see a true plane. But we use things to represent planes. Like I might say the ceiling is a plane, even though the ceiling doesn't go on forever and ever and ever in all directions, a true plane does. But I might represent the ceiling as a plane, the floor as a plane. Sometimes we represent a parallelogram as a plane.
What about Earth?
What about a what?
Earth. Is it a plane?
Bro, don't. This even just
So if you look over here, do you see where on question 3, plane? What is a good definition for a plane? Which one?
Flat surface.
A flat surface that has infinite length, blah, 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 yeah. A flat surface that has infinite length, infinite width, and 0 height. So pick that one. So we might use different objects to represent planes, like the top of the table could be a plane. The walls, the windows, the door, the floor, the ceiling, those could all be represented as planes. If collinear are points on the same line, what do you think coplanar is?
Points on the same plane.
Points on the same plane. So if you go back, what do you think for coplanar? Points that lie on the same plane. So make sure you have those definitions filled out. Okay, so back to the word fun, because I just like fun. So I've got these 3 points on this plane, F, U, and N. And then I have this capital letter off on the corner. It's supposed to be cursive, but I couldn't find a very good cursive. Here, it should be like maybe that. Okay, so to name a plane, you pick 3 non-collinear points. What do you think non-collinear is? Not on the same line. Not on the same line. So 3 non-collinear points to name a plane, or there's a capital cursive letter in the corner. So I could name this plane, F-U-N, or plane A. Either way. Now a lot of times you might see A, B, C, D. You could name a plane A, B, C, D if you wanted by all those corner points. But you only have to name a plane by 3 non-collinear points. So that same plane, A, B, C, D, I could name it that. I could also name it A, B, C. So you only have to have 3 letters to name a plane. It's only, you have to have 3, but you could have 4 or more. With a line, you do 2. Can you have 3 with a line? No. No. When you name a line, 2 only. When you name a plane, at least 3. Because sometimes we might have like a hexagon shape, and you could name it A, B, C, D, E, F, like if you wanted, but you don't have to. So a plane is at least 3 non-collinear points. Okay, so there are several ways to name this plane. What's a way we could name this plane?
Q.
Plane Q. Plane Q, that's probably the easiest way. Could I name it plane XYZ?
No.
How come?
Girls.
They make a line. What's a way to name this plane, Nathan?
W-Y-V.
WYV. That's supposed to be a Y. Yes, plane WYV. You guys see that? WYV. Non-collinear points. Perfect.
You name it XY.
XYW. Yes. So as long as there are 3 non-collinear points, or just plain Q. Sometimes that's easier. Now, sometimes if you think about a cube, there's a bunch of planes represented in a cube. Like, for example, plane HEFG. Do you see this plane? Top plane. You have the bottom plane DABC. You have the side plane HEAD. The other side plane GFBC. The back plane HGCD. So there's lots of planes that are easily identifiable. But what about those planes that are not so identifiable? Like, what about HECB? Do you guys see that plane?
Yeah.
That diagonal plane? It's kind of hard to draw.
That's like 3D.
What about EFDC? Do you guys see that plane? So there's actually infinitely amount of planes. There's a lot of planes in there. So just so you guys know, it's not always just the top, the bottom, front, back, left, right. You could have the diagonal planes in there too, but we're not going to be naming all those crazy planes today. But I'm just showing you it's not limited.
It should be.
Okay, so my name is Brandy. So I put B-R-A-N-D-I, like I tried to put my letters in there. So name 3 points that are collinear.
IRA.
DNA.
BRN.
BRN. Good.
A&D.
Okay. Name 4 points that are coplanar.
RA.
Wait, A's outside.
BRNI.
No,
BRNI. Do you guys see those? This one's outside the plane. This one's outside the plane.
I can't see that.
Bernie.
So they have to be inside the plane.
Yes, to be coplanar, all in the same plane. Name 3 points that are not collinear.
DIA.
3 points not collinear. DA what?
DIA.
I. Okay. All right. Real world examples. You'll have this on your assignment today too. So let's think about a point, a line, or a plane. A point, line, or a plane. What do you think is represented by a car antenna?
A line.
A line, good. What about a library card?
A rectangle.
A plane.
It's the opposite.
What about a knot in a rope?
A point.
A point, good.
Line.
A knot.
I mean,
What
like,
about the very tip of a pin?
Sharp.
point?
A point. What about a stop sign?
Right.
Plane. And what about the strings on a violin? A line. Okay. Okay, if two lines intersect, this is the last thing you have to know, and this will be on your test too. If two lines intersect, their intersection is exactly 1
And
point. The lines will never turn and cross again. If two lines intersect, they only intersect in one spot, and that's a point.
Whoa.
Okay? What about planes? Let's think about planes. If two planes intersect, their intersection is a line. Do you see how they would intersect through that?
It's like a bird.
I couldn't draw it. I tried to draw it up here.
It's an X.
I'm not good at drawing. But if two planes,
I see like a.
if two planes intersect, their intersection is a line. So if two lines intersect, it's a point. If two planes intersect, it's a line. Okay, so when you're looking at this, how many planes are in this figure? And don't count the bottom plane twice.
Can I count the back?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
you count in your
12,
head?
13, 14.
It's only two.
Hey,
No.
Okay.
like 8.
There's the top, right?
Oh, never mind.
There's the bottom.
2,
There's the front.
3,
Back.
4,
Side.
5, 6, 7.
Side.
6.
6.
Wait, what about the bottom?
Okay. This bottom plane
Underneath of it. Underneath it.
is the same. These are on the same plane, so it all don't count it twice.
What about that diagonal plane?
Yeah.
We're not gonna count any of the diagonal planes.
Oh, I did.
That's what I was counting.
Yeah, don't count any of the diagonal planes. Just the planes that we can see.
No, I was just saying numbers.
Now, how many planes contains both points H and G?
None.
2. This side one, do you guys see the side one?
Yeah.
And then the top one. So the top plane and the side plane contains both of those points together. So there's 2. All right. Name 4 points that are coplanar.
AJKL.
A is like that point.
Oh.
I-H-J-K.
I-H-J-K is perfect. I-H-J-K. Do you guys see all
Oh.
those?
LG.
Okay. Yeah, there's more. There's more answers.
No, you're not.
Are points J, K, and L coplanar? Yeah, they're in the same plane. So, yep. All right. So, this is supposed to be the school for the gifted.
What does that mean?
And he like can't even get in. Do you ever do that though?
What?
Like it says pull, but he's.
I do that all the time.
I do that all the time too.
Dude, I don't even use my hands. I used to just walk through it.
Okay, so on the assignment, how many points determine a line?
2.
2. So make sure you put just the number 2.
Oh.
How many non-collinear points? Are you finding it? Good. How many non-collinear points determine a plane? 3. Good. And then you should have most of those definitions for question 3.
Okay, question.
Oh.
If 2 lines intersect,
1 point.
What?
is 1 point. Spell it right.
How you spell it?
P-O-I-N-T.
Okay. I was good.
If 2 planes intersect, what's a line?
Wait, should we capitalize that or just?
Just leave it lowercase.
But what if it was.
Okay, so if I get it wrong, I'm gonna quote you. So
Okay.
Why is it worth 2 points?
Because there's 2 answers.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
saw that.
So you're gonna go through and you're gonna decide: are these points coplanar? Are certain points collinear? Or you're gonna pick the points that are collinear
New one.
or coplanar.
Yeah, can you do an example one? 'Cause I'm-
Like which one?
Number 5.
Okay.
Like,
So it says, name a point that is coplanar, so on the same plane as H, D, and A. So if I look at H, D, and A, I'm looking at this plane, right?
E.
So what's a point that's coplanar?
E.
E. Okay, so you can do that. You guys can do it.
What about,
I have faith.
Okay, what's the
Nope.
Points.
Some of them be careful. Go to look. Hang on, there's one that's like check.
These are
All that apply.
Wait, name 3 points, but I can't circle 3.
I got this one.
That's like no math.
I'm just playing.
Oh, if you scroll down to question 15,
Oh.
Whoa,
Already there.
15.
it says name 3 line segments that intersect at point A. So you're going to be checking more than one answer. So, does GF intersect at point A?
No.
No, that's way over here. What about FE?
What about the ones that all have A?
That's man, you are so smart. What about DA?
Yeah.
Yeah, DA intersects with point A.
Yeah, it's all the ones with A's.
What about GA?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about BA?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Oh, we do take them.
But would EC intersect with point A?
No.
No, EC is way down here.
I was like,
So some of it, yeah, really though, this stuff is a lot of common sense.
I just feel so dumb right now.
Like when you started teaching math, it's my brain's like a hole. It just goes through it. I can't catch it.
Numbers 18, there's another that check all that apply. It says name a point on line N. Which 2 points are on line N?
Wait, number
Where's that?
This is number 18.
Q or
B
the
and A.
A.
A and
C.
B.
B.
Yes, B.
So make sure you check them both. Check all that apply. So if you see check all that apply, check all of them.
You put B and A for number 18.
Uh-huh.
What's number 10?
Yeah, because that's confusing.
Number 10, what's it say? Hang on, let me get to it.
Use the
No,
diagram.
what is the intersection of lines L and N? So where do they intersect?
B.
B. That's what I want there.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was
straight.
So I want the letter B.
You want capitalized?
Cap, yes, you always name points with capital letters. Has to be capital.
So when it's asking for a point, we have to put, never mind.
You just put that capital letter. Right.
On 10, do you just put like point G?
Is it done?
Oh,
Ten.
just put capital.